Hi, welcome everyone to workout class 2, week 2. So today in our basic class we are going to do a knee friendly class. So if you have any knee joint replacements or some arthritis in the knees, or for any reason you find kneeling uncomfortable, we are making a class that is going to help strengthen and also just prevent any aggravation of those knees. So we're going to start with some balance exercises first. So I'm just going to start with the calf raises. If you find your balance is quite challenging with these, then one tip is to do that just on the floor rather than on your mat, because a soft surface will make the balance harder. So starting with our calf raises, we're just going to line things up. So we're going to make sure that our feet are just in line with the two pelvic bones. So we should be able to just line up between the second and third toe. We're going to make sure that the weight's nice and evenly distributed, shoulders are back, chin tucked in, back of the neck nice and long. We're breathing in through the nose. As we breathe out through the mouth, we're going to squeeze the bottom and rise up onto the toes. Make sure that we keep the ribs down and shoulders relaxed. Take a breath in and breathing out as we slowly lower back down to the heels. Doing 2 more there. So as we breathe out, squeeze the glutes, rise up, draw the navel into the spine, ribs connected to the hips. Take a breath in and breathe out as we lower down. Find a spot on the wall or something in front of you to focus on. Again, if your balance is challenged here, squeeze the glutes, use the core, and then smoothly back down. Excellent. From there, going into a little bit of single-legged balance work. So we're going to start on the right foot, taking the left foot just out in front of you. You're going to make sure that your hips are still nice and even. We're not starting to dip one hip down as we do this, so we make sure we keep that hip, no hitchhiking hips here. So pull that hip right in, squeeze the buttock muscle, and then as we exhale, we're just going to flex the ankle, which will lift that foot from the floor, and then point just a touch with the toe. Exhale, flex, and then point. Exhale, flex, and point. 2 more. Flex, and point. Last one. And down. Sliding that foot in underneath you. So going on to the left leg now. Again, butt squeeze. Imagine you're trying to create a little dimple at the side of your hip on that leg that you're standing on. Glute squeeze. Lengthen up through the spine. And exhale, flex, and point. Flex and point. Make sure we're getting that left glute squeezed. Keeping tall. Avoid swaying backward. And last 2. And 1. Navel to spine. And back down. Excellent. Alright, and then just shake out those ankles or roll out those ankles. Make sure they're nice and relaxed. Alright, getting ourselves lined up. Going into a roll down. Now with our roll down, this is just to transition to the floor. And when we are down, we're going to just pause and do a little downward dog stretch. So that's just a nice way to just stretch out the back of the legs. So we're breathing in to prepare, and as we breathe out, we're going to tuck the chin towards the chest, and we're going to roll down through the spine. Just the one roll down here, and we're going to walk forward up the mat. Staying up on your feet. Hold this position when you're about 3/4 of the way forward, and then you're going to just drop your head between your shoulders and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're a bit tight, stay up on your toes. Focus on trying to extend through the upper back by pushing the chest to the thighs and trying to lift your tailbone up to the ceiling and try to create a nice little pyramid there. Then from there, we're just going to do little alternating heel drops. Now, as you do those, try not to sway through the hips. Think about evenly lifting and lowering through the pelvis. Get that breathing going. Lovely. Just do 1 more each side. And then to get to the floor without having to lower to your knees, you're just going to swivel your hips to one side and you should be able to lower down onto one hip. Excellent. There we are. And then I'll get Brad to just lie down onto the back now so you can just come right down onto your back. And we're just going to start with some pelvic bridges. So arms are nice and long by your sides. Chin is tucked in. Feet are in line with our sit bones here. Breathing in to prepare. As we breathe out, engage the abdominals, tilt the pelvis back, squeeze the glutes, lengthen the knees, tuck the chin, breath in, and breathing out as we roll down. Drop the ribs down, scoop in through the abdominals and imprint. Breathing in. Exhale, squeeze the glutes in as we lift up. Try not to let the knees come apart. Gently squeeze in. And exhale, keep the shoulders back, push the ribs down. Try to get that lower back down to the floor. We'll add in the arms on this one. So we're going to curl up first. When we get to our lift, we're going to bring the arms just up to 90 degrees. Hold them there, and then make sure that we roll down through the spine. And then bring the arms down again. Breathing out, we roll up. We bring the arms up to 90, hold there, and roll down through the spine. And back. Now, if you're finding that easy and you're able to roll through your spine, you can try taking your hands a little bit further over your head and all the way to the floor if you can, and then try to roll through the spine. So that will just challenge some of the mobility through your back, the flexibility through your back, and the flexibility in some of the muscles, your lat muscles in particular, and around your shoulder joints as well. So it's a good way to stretch those out. We'll just do one more. Exhale, good. Inhale, and rolling down. And then we're just going to get Brad to come into the bridge position one more time. Now for extra challenge, we can try and have the hands just up at 90 degrees. Alright, if you want to keep the hands down, that's fine. If you feel any cramping in your hamstrings, just take a little break. And again, try not to grip too much behind your knees. Squeeze your bum, keep abs on, and then we're just going to do little calf raises here, or heel raises. So exhale, we're going to lift the heels off the floor, and then breathing in as we lower them down. Press the ball of the foot to the floor and make sure that you're really bending into those toes. If it feels a bit funny, try bringing the feet a little bit closer in towards you if you can. But focus on bending in the big toe. Don't let that big toe be too stiff. Press the ball of the big toe into the floor. We'll just do two more. Excellent. Keep those hips high. Keep those glutes squeezed. Pause for a breath in at the bottom. Heels down. And roll down through the spine. Excellent. All right. Now from here, we're just going to do a couple of hip rolls to just loosen things up. So take your arms out to your sides, about 90 degrees, or if you don't have a lot of space, that can go 45 degrees, that's fine. We're going to bring your feet and knees nice and close together, and then try to imagine like you're holding a dollar bill between your ankle bones and your knees. We're going to make sure that we're not too arched in the back, so ribs down, tilt the pelvis back a little bit, and then as you exhale, we're going to let the knees roll together to one side, and your head can rotate to the opposite direction. Try to keep that opposite shoulder down, like there's a little tug of war going on there. And then exhale, use your abdominals to pull back to the center. So draw that navel back down into the spine. Breathe in the center and breathe out as you go the other way. Again, head turns opposite direction. Keep the shoulder down. And exhale, abs on, ribs down, navel to spine coming back. Exhale, go two more. Here, breathing in. And exhale, abs on as we return. Good, let's go one more. Exhale. And breathing out as we return. Excellent. Good. All right, now we'll go into a little bit of ab work here, just starting with some ab prep. So we're going to start with the hands just supporting the head there. We're going to try to still keep the elbows nice and open, nice and wide. And again, try to avoid pulling your head too far forward, just using it to support some of the weight of your head with these ones. We're going to keep your feet down, and we're going to make sure that we're staying in our neutral pelvis or neutral spine position. So breathing in to prepare, nod your chin, breathe out, curl up by rocking down through the ribs, and then breathing in as we lower back again. Breathing out, ribs slide to the hips as we curl the upper back and shoulders off the floor. If you get a little bit of a shake and a little bit of a quiver in your stomach, perfect. Don't be afraid of that. That's awesome. And we'll go two more. Lovely. Last one. Excellent, good. And then have a little rest. Okay, now we're going to go into a little oblique twist with it. And we're going to be lifting one leg to tabletop position. So you're going to be curling. When you curl to your left, you'll lift your left leg. When you come down, you'll curl to the right and you'll lift the right leg, as beautifully demonstrated by Brad. So breathing in to prepare. As we exhale, lift your left leg, curl and rotate to the left. Breathing as you come down to the floor again, and then over to the other side. Now as you're rotating, think about bringing the rib to the opposite side of the pelvis and then the vice versa on the other side. Try to keep the hips and pelvis nice and steady on the floor. Avoid them tipping and rolling by remembering your pelvic floor contraction, that lower abdominal contraction. Excellent. We'll do 3 more. Good. So 1 more set from here. Keep those elbows nice and open. Remember not to cross the face with the elbow. Last one. And then have a little rest. Excellent. All right. Give those knees a little hug in towards you. If it's a bit uncomfortable, hold behind the thigh rather than on top, but giving them a couple of circles each direction is excellent. All right, so we've warmed up those abs nicely. So just to round out this abdominal set, we are going to go into our hundreds. We're just going to keep the legs in tabletop position, but if you do feel like you want a little bit more challenge, you can extend the legs. And remember that when you've got the legs extended, the higher these legs are, the easier it is. The lower they go, the harder it is. And you can always go back to tabletop position if you are starting to feel a bit tired in the abs or in the lower back. Okay, but otherwise we'll just hold more focus on our breathing control. So with our hundreds, hopefully you've done them before, but if not, we have the hands by our sides. We breathe in for 5 pulses and out for 5 pulses. So it's a breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In through the nose, out through that pursed lip, where we really zip and hollow. So we're going to bring, now remember if you have trouble in tabletop as well, one last thing, you can put a little pillow just underneath your bum to help you tilt the pelvis back a little bit. Otherwise, see how we go, or you can always have your feet on the floor. So we're going to start with the legs coming up one at a time to tabletop. We're going to reach those arms nice and long, take a breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, curl up through the head and shoulders. Remember, you can do this with your head down if you need to. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, drawing into those lower abdominals. In, 3, 4, 5, pelvic floor engaging here, and in. And keep reaching with the arms. Try to avoid the shoulders elevating on that breath in and out. We're halfway, breathing in and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, that's 80, keep that chin lightly tucked, look at that belly button and imagine you're blowing out a candle, last one, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hug the knees in and have a little rest. Well done. We'll just do a nice back stretch here before we change into our glutes. So we're just going to take the left leg down onto the floor. We're going to bring the right leg up into tabletop. And we're just going to extend our right arm out to along the floor. Left hand can come up onto the knee. Now you can rest your foot down onto the opposite thigh if you need to for just a little bit of support. Otherwise, hanging is fine. And then keeping that right shoulder on the floor, we're rolling the hips and knees across just into our nice international back stretch here. So you should feel this as a bit of a stretch across the hip or the back. You may even get a few clicks and cracks. That's brilliant. Nice endorphins released from that. And use your exhale and return back to the center. Cool. We'll drop that leg down. We'll take the left arm out along the side of the floor there. Right hand comes up across the opposite knee and exhale as we roll into the stretch there. Looking towards your outstretched arm. Again, just use that push and pull relationship. So the hand working to press your left knee down and your left shoulder blade fighting to try to reach the floor. And then use your exhale to return back through and rest the legs down flat. Okay, going into our side lying glute work. So if we get you to roll over onto your left hand side, we want to stretch your left arm out above you there, resting a pillow if you've got one, or a folded towel between your ear and your shoulder. We're just going to start with some clamshells. So we're just going to make sure that the head, shoulders, hips are all in line. Your feet should also fall into that line, and we've got a bend, about a 45-degree bend at your hips and a 90-degree bend at the knee. We're going to keep the hips stacked up on top of each other. Remember to lift your lower side of your waist, so lift your lower ribs up just a little, try to create a little air tunnel there, and then keep the heels together, but just float them an inch off the floor. And then breathing in to prepare, exhale, contract the abs and turn up the top knee. Breathing in as we lower down. Exhale as you lift and inhale to lower. Make sure we keep those heels pressed together, keep the abs on, and if you do need to put your hand on your hip to make sure that you are keeping the pelvis steady and not rolling backward, that's a good idea just to give yourself some feedback since we're not there to correct you, but really focusing on that. The other option as you're doing this at home is you could lie with your back up against a wall, and that will help you make sure that you're not rolling backward, but hand on the hip is helpful. We've just got 2 more. And then we're just going to hold the last one, pause there. Again, make sure that the hips are still stacked, heels are still pressed together, and we're just going to hold. We're just going to keep holding for another 8, 7, 6, 5. See if you can get a little bit higher. 3, 2, 1, and relax down. That's a great one for endurance at the end. Keep your underneath leg bent, but just extend your top leg out nice and long, and just lengthen the leg and float it up to hip height. We're just going to hold it that height. Pointing the toe, turn the knee and this toe slightly up, and then as we inhale, we're going to start a circle forward. Exhale, we're going to circle around. Inhale and exhale. Now as you do the circles, just make sure that you're doing a circle that you are able to keep your pelvis nice and steady. You're not tipping and rolling. No bigger than about a basketball size for your circle. And we're just going to do 3 more. You should be feeling that into that top hip and glute. And then we'll change direction. Again, start the circle backward and up and over. Again, keep the underneath leg nice and relaxed. And it's fine to use your top hand for balance, but just make sure that you're keeping that shoulder down and back. Again, just do another 3 that direction. Keep lengthening and reaching, and make sure you've still got that bit of space between your waist and the floor. Excellent. Then from there, just going to rest back down to the bent knee position, and we're going to keep the top leg bent now, and we're just going to extend the bottom leg out underneath us. Now, if you like, if you've got a ball, you can rest your knee on a ball or your folded pillow just so it doesn't sink down. If you are able to keep your foot on the floor and have your knee slightly turned up like Brad is doing here, then that's good. But if you've got no option but to rest your knee on the floor, that's fine. But just try not to let your hips roll forward too much. And we've got those hips still stacked. We're stretching out that underneath leg. We're working through our adductors or our inner thigh muscles here. So we're going to flex our ankle back towards us, stretch out through the heel, and then exhale as we lift that underneath leg, breathing in as we lower. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Exhale up, inhale down. Doing 2 more. Use that squeeze of your buttock as well. Squeeze and down. Then we're going to lift up and hold, and we're going to do 10 pulses. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold, point your toe, and 10 more there. 10, 9, 8, 7. Squeeze those glutes. 3, 2, 1, and resting down. Excellent. Stretch both legs out nice and long now, and again, make sure those hips are stacked on top of each other. Just finishing this series with a single leg lift. So we're pointing the toe, breathing out as we lift the leg just slightly above hip height. Breathe in, flex the ankle, and exhale, lower. Point the toe, breathing in. Exhale up, inhale, flex, exhale, lower, and point. Exhale, lift, flex, and really lengthen out through that heel all the way down. And lift, and flex, and down. Last one, point, and lift, flex, and down. Excellent. Now just tuck both knees up, and we're just going to do a book opener stretch here. So a great one for that mobility in the upper back and thoracic spine. So Brad will just need to shuffle forward a little bit because he'll need some more space behind him. And we'll move both hands just straight out in front of you. We want your knees to be tucked up at hips at 90-degree angles. So if you just tuck your knees a little higher. Yep, awesome. All right, so you're imagining that your spine is the spine of a book and your arms are the front and the back pages, essentially. So you'll probably still hit the wall here, but you'll get the point. We're going to breathe in. We're going to stretch your top hand long. We're going to breathe out as that hand comes up to the ceiling in an arc. Slide your shoulder blade down and back as we roll back towards the mat behind us. So you're aiming, if your left hand was at 3 o'clock, for your right hand to hit 9 o'clock, and then coming back. And again, nice breath in, stretch long, exhale, come up and over. Keep the hips and knees stacked as we roll back through the shoulders. Again, Brad's just bending his elbow because he's got the wall behind him, but hopefully you've got a bit more space. And exhale, come back. Lovely. And last one, we'll reach and lift. Rolling back. Good. And then return on the exhale. And then we'll just turn onto your back for a glute stretch. So coming onto the back, we'll go into our pretzel stretch. So you're going to cross your right foot over your left knee. That should leave a gap between your legs, and you're wanting to try to thread your hand so your right hand goes through the gap and you can grab a hold of that left leg. Now if you can do that and pull your knees towards you, great, you'll get a much deeper stretch. But if you can't, just keep the feet on the floor and just work to press your knee out to the side a little bit more for your stretch. Alright, coming back down. Now you can just roll to the other side, but for the purpose of the video, we're just going to move your head down the other end. And obviously you might want to see what we're doing too, so all good. Right, so starting with our clamshells. So stretching out nice and long, but we're tucking the hips and the knees. Feet are in line with the bottom, lengthening through the waist. Remember to create that lift under your lower rib cage. Heels stay together, but just float a little off the floor. And then as we exhale, abs engaged as we turn up the top knee and create that nice diamond shape between the legs, and then breathing and lowering down. Exhale as we lift and breathing in to lower. Keep those heels squeezed together and imagine like you're trying to show the inside of your ankle forward as you do that turn out. And that's good dancer's technique there. Shoulders are down, waist is long. Again, avoid that tipping or rolling backward. Last one. Let's hold it up here now. We're keeping that squeeze going for another 8, 7, 6. See if you can get this a centimetre higher. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lowering down. Now keep that underneath leg bent, but stretch the top leg out nice and long. Lift and lengthen through the waist, and we're going into a circle. Breathing in and exhale, circle around. Again, make sure that you're keeping that waist nice and steady. If you want to put your hand on your hip to guide you, then that can be useful. And work on that good squeeze into the glutes. Good, just tip forward a little bit more. Yep, now you might need that top hand for a little bit of balance, and that's fine, but just make sure that you squeeze your shoulder down towards your hip, and that will connect that shoulder down into your core and strengthen your core. Whereas when your shoulder pops up, it's taking that work away from your core. Let's go the other direction before I lose count here. Coming up and over. Good, again, waist stacked, just tip forward a little. Make sure that you are on the point of that underneath hip. You're not starting to roll backward onto the back side. A little bit further. Last circle. Shoulder back though. Excellent. And resting down. Now we're going to be tucking the legs, and we're going to keep that top knee bent now, but that bottom leg is going to stretch out long. And again, you can let your knee rest down, or if you want to put your knee on a folded pillow or wall, then that can again just stop you from having to roll the hips too far forward. Otherwise, as Brad is good. Legs stretching out nice and long. Flex the ankle towards you and stretch out the heel. And then as we exhale, we're lifting and working through those inner thigh muscles and breathing into lower. Squeeze that underneath glute. Make sure that you're trying to get that backside going. like you're trying to pinch the butt crack together. Make sure you're getting those glutes squeezed. And you can get a double whammy if you're in this position like Brad is, trying to keep this knee turned, top knee turned up and squeezing both glutes there. You'll get a good glute workout on that top hip as well as your inner thigh workout. All right, we're going to go into the pulses. So we're going to lift up and hold. Keep stretching out through your heel, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point, and keep breathing and pulse. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Cool. Last exercise. You're doing well. Keep those hips stacked. Pointing, single leg lift. So exhale, we lift the top leg up with a point. Breathing in, flex, lengthen out through that heel all the way down. Point at the bottom. Exhale, lift. Inhale, flex. Exhale, lower. Point and lift. Flex and lower. 2 more. And lift. Flex and lower. Last one. Lift. And stretch through the heel and down. Good. And then fold both knees up in front of you. Give your bum a little bit of a hit and a punch if you need to. We're doing our book opening stretch, so make sure you've got room behind you wherever you are. No lounge suite or bed or anything in your way. So we've got those arms together, knees tucked up in front of you. We're going to breathe in and stretch that top hand and then reach up to the ceiling. Slide your shoulder blade down and back. Keep your hand in line with 3 and 9 o'clock. And then coming back on the exhale. Palms should connect evenly together again. Reach long, come up. Now try to keep your hand, your fingertips in your sight at all times so we don't get the shoulder into an awkward angle. And exhale to return. It's a great stretch for your nerves as well. So really nice if you do experience any kind of carpal tunnel type problems, RSI problems, and then returning back. And we'll move into our glute stretch. So onto your back, knees bent. We should be crossing the left foot this time over the right knee. Again, you can just hold the stretch here and push your knee a little bit wider or hug your right leg in for a deeper stretch. Just keep your breathing going evenly through the stretch. As we exhale, try to pull a little bit deeper into the stretch if you can. Right, and then we'll bring the feet down. Excellent work. Now we'll just make our transition back up into standing. I don't want to leave you on the floor with no way out, so I'll get you to roll to your right hand side. Now from there, you want to just get your top foot forward. Yep. You're bringing your weight onto your hands. We're going to swivel over onto the feet, and we're going to walk our way up towards our toes, and we're going to slowly roll up. And we're just going to finish with a few roll downs here just with that flexibility. So breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, tuck your chin to your chest and start to roll down through the spine. Let those arms hang, take a breath in. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, scoop the navel into the spine as we restack. Nice breath in. Exhale, chin to the chest as we roll down again, navel scooping up and in. Breath in here and exhale as we return, tailbone tucking and restack. Last one. Exhale. Let that hang. Good, hold there and just bring your hands behind your ankles or your knees. Nice breath in into your back and then breathe out. Pull a little bit further with your arms into that stretch. One more breath. And then release the arms, tuck that tailbone, scoop in through the abs and restack. Excellent. And we're all done for today. Thanks for joining us.